Financial markets have had a wild time of it in the past 24 hours, with fears of a global recession triggered by America. But with a new morning comes a little bit of calm. Here, though, the Reserve Bank has had to digest all this. They'll continue to do that today as it makes its latest interest rate decision this afternoon. Our business editor, Ross Greenwood, is with me. Ross, let's start with those markets. What do you make of the losses on Wall Street overnight?
Look, they were significant, but it would have to be said that Wall Street has handled probably the meltdown in the Asian markets yesterday with a little bit more poise than what maybe happened here in Australia yesterday and what certainly happened in places such as Korea, in Japan and also in Taiwan, where you saw really sort of momentous falls of more than 10% in those markets. Here's what the Dow Jones has done overnight. So it has fallen 1,000 points. And so this really is, the worst three-day performance for the US markets since 2022. But really, going back a couple of years isn't that big in the whole scheme of things. It's not necessarily the market meltdown that many people feared it could have been when those Asian markets were tanking yesterday. But you can see the tech-laden Nasdaq. This is where the Googles, the Amazons, the Apples of this world are. It was down 3.5%, which is a pretty solid one-day session fall. And the broader market is the S&P 500. Gives you a broader look at the overall share market, down by 3%, which pretty much replicates where our stock market ended up yesterday. If we go further forward, what you can actually start to see is just a few more bits and pieces. These are some of the big tech stocks. So Meta, which owns Facebook, down 2.5%. Alphabet, which owns Google, down almost 4.5%. And on top of that, Nvidia, which has been the market darling because of those new chips for artificial intelligence, down by 6.3%. And that's pretty understandable given the run that it's had in recent times. But if again we go further forward and look at the reason for this taking place in the first place, it was US employment numbers. These numbers came in much higher than anticipated. And as a result, that triggered a fear of a global recession. And because of that, it really then reverberated over the weekend and around the world. But last night, a new figure came out as well from the United States, and that was its services index. Now, it actually shows that the services industry in the United States remains very, very strong. So again, this just took a little bit of the edge off the fear that maybe the United States is headed for a short-term recession, which would have needed significant cuts to interest rates, which would have needed big treatment by the US government and by its central bank, the Federal Reserve, ASAP.
Okay. So does that panic then, given what you've just said, calm a little bit today? What happens on the ASX when it opens?
Yeah, well, it should calm here today. So let's just wait and see what happens. But we've got a bit of a glimpse as to what happens. If we take you through some of the markets, which give us a bit of a clue, this is the share price index of future markets. So it's down about 0.36% now, 27 points. So yes, there's a fall, but it's not as catastrophic as it was yesterday. So what's happened in US markets appears to have calmed it. But I want to show you something else. And this is basically the futures markets. This is the ASX rather, over the past three sessions. And you can really see just how big that fall was yesterday as we came into that session and just kept falling throughout the rest of the day. So 3.7% our market was down yesterday. But if we go further forward again, what I want to show you is really what's going to likely take place in the United States. And so this is the share price index of futures markets. This is ours. But if we go and have a look at the Wall Street futures, effectively the Wall Street futures right now, Laura, are up. And so from that point of view, it's a situation where they're now suggesting that their markets will actually rebound tomorrow. And that will give calm to not only the Asian markets here, but also to the Australian stock market when it opens in an hour's time.